It is September 1948 on the Bonneville Salt Flats. Out here, on this massive, cracked expanse of white earth, the only objective is absolute speed. Racer Rolly Free was making his runs, trying to set a new world record. But at extreme velocities, his heavy leather riding jacket was catching the wind and creating aerodynamic drag, holding him back. To eliminate the drag, Free stripped off his leathers. Wearing nothing but a bathing cap, a pair of swimming trunks, and borrowed sneakers, he laid completely flat across the seat of his motorcycle and blasted across the salt at 150.3 miles per hour. The machine beneath him was a Vincent, a bike engineered to bypass the mechanical limits of its era. To see how absurd 150 miles per hour was at the time, look at the cars on the road in 1948. Most standard passenger vehicles were heavy, sluggish, and vibrated violently just trying to maintain 60 on a highway. The sheer leap in velocity made the Vincent genuinely terrifying to ride. Journalist Hunter S. Thompson nicknamed the bike the sausage creature, writing that it possessed so much unmanageable torque that a single mistake meant certain death. That lethal reputation has driven standard models of the Vincent Black Shadow to well over $60,000 today, while the rare Black Lightning racing variants have hit nearly $1 million at auction. Collectors pay these premiums because they are acquiring a machine that held the title of the world's fastest production motorcycle for 25 consecutive years, remaining unbeaten until the Kawasaki Z1 arrived in 1973. Which raises a perplexing question. How did a tiny, resource-starved British company in the late 1940s engineer a machine so far ahead of its time that the rest of the world couldn't catch it for a quarter of a century? The answer starts in the bleak reality of post-World War II Britain. The national economy was exhausted, supply chains were fractured, and industrial factories were operating in pure survival mode. Materials were severely constrained. The government enforced strict rationing on nearly everything, including a critical shortage of steel. Engineers Phil Vincent and Phil Irving set out to build a sensible, highly durable commuter bike. The most feared motorcycle in history was born of necessity, forced into existence by an urgent need to save metal and stretch fuel. Standard motorcycles of the era were built around heavy tubular steel frames that wrapped around the engine to support it. Facing the steel shortage, Vincent and Irving came up with a radical solution, eliminating the traditional frame. Instead, they used a stressed member design. The massive 1000cc V-twin engine block acted as the chassis itself, with suspension components bolted directly into the engine cases. As a commuter, this design was highly successful. It achieved 42 miles per gallon, featured tool-less wheel removal, and a reversible rear wheel to quickly change gear ratios. Deleting that steel frame had an unintended consequence. It created a hyper-rigid chassis capable of handling explosive engine torque without twisting under the strain. When the engineers took their standard Rapide model and hand-polished the internal parts, they tuned that V-twin up to 56 brake horsepower, giving birth to the Black Shadow. This immense forward momentum required a completely new stopping mechanism, leading them to mount unique dual-drum brakes on both the front and rear wheels. The signature baked black enamel covering the engine was a chemical engineering choice, designed to dissipate extreme heat from the cylinders. By the time the upgraded Series C models rolled out, they had replaced the standard front suspension with rugged aluminum hydraulic forks to keep the front wheel stable at death-defying speeds. These heat-managing and stabilizing solutions forged a utilitarian commuter into a dark, intimidating mechanical monster that commanded absolute fear on the road. Despite the engineering brilliance, the Vincent factory ran completely out of money, permanently shutting its doors in 1955 after producing only a few thousand bikes. The bankruptcy stemmed directly from Phil Vincent's refusal to compromise. The sheer cost and time required for this level of precision, hand-fitted engineering, simply outpaced what the market could sustain. Although the company collapsed, the Black Shadow's engineering established the Superbike archetype, proving a production machine could reach racing speeds without specialized track maintenance. Today, you can easily buy a modern motorcycle that is significantly faster, vastly cheaper, and much safer to ride. Collectors pay $1 million for a Vincent because it captures a time when severe material constraints forced a tiny team to build the most uncompromising machine possible.